Share at will. Okie doke. Just in case I need it.
Okay, before we start, I need to give you a more of an overall picture of this project.
Okay.
This is actually a two-phase project. This is the one we already talked about.
Mm-hmm.
But before that one can happen, this one has to happen.
Okay.
And this is going to be a minor subdivision through the Planning Commission. And it's going to get, these are going to be submitted sequentially to the Planning Commission, but they're going to be submitted simultaneously to the Highway Department and Health Department.
All
So
right.
I've actually got to produce two plats, one showing this division and the other showing
Showing that other one, yeah.
that division.
All right.
So, and I don't know if the best way to do that is to do a save as and create a different file altogether, or do it down here and just do another page.
Well,
I'll
6
defer to
1.
you on that.
Yeah, 6 of one, half dozen of the other. If you do it with another page, what you're going to need to do is those partition lines between 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Those will need to be on a separate layer so that you can freeze it for the overall, and then you can turn them on for the new page. So, but otherwise, you could make two separate files, and then one would be, this big 3-lot division, and then you could just reference that underneath the multi-lot division. So it's entirely up to you. There's not really a whole lot of the one benefit that you have to doing it. Well, I started to say doing it one or the other, but you can still do it the other way. I was going to say, if you make it two different files, you would need to take this 3-lot division, as that file gets saved and finished, you would need to make that an XREF into the multi-lot division, so that if there are ever any changes to the 3-lot division, it gets reflected into the other one. Otherwise, you'd have to copy those things back over to that. But, it's not terribly likely that you're going to have that condition once you're settled on the 3 lots, the subdivision, the minor subdivision. So,
Right.
I don't really. I tell you what, let's keep it in this one file, since it's all going to be there, and I'll show you how to manage that. We'll duplicate that boundary layer, the one that you're putting your new boundary on, and then we'll.
So should I rename this as Final Plat 2?
The overall file, or that, okay, that one there, I would call that one final. Well, I would call one maybe, minor subdivision, the other one maybe, major subdivision, or whatever makes sense for you to keep track of it. It's
okay. Why don't I call this one? Is there a place to rename this? Yeah, rename.
There you go.
I'll call this FC for Family Conveyance.
All right.
Final plat.
That'll work.
And then do a copy.
Yeah, but I wouldn't copy it yet. Let's get this one close to finished before you make a copy, because everything's going to really be done over in the model space anyway. And we're just going to need to copy the layer that whatever your partition lines are going to go on. I don't know if you call them boundary or new boundary or something.
Well, we probably ought to set up a layer for that. I've got everything kind of called boundary.
Yeah.
I've got something here called new lots A. And
All right.
instead of calling it new lots A, why don't I call it new lots minor subdivision?
All right.
And I'll call this one new lots family conveyance. How's that?
Yeah, that whatever makes sense. Is the family conveyance the 12 lot one?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
So I talked to the client and I sent him a couple of different drawings and this is what he finally decided on what he wants to do.
All right.
The only line he really moved was originally we had this line going between those 2 points and he decided to make lot 2 bigger, which I think was a good choice.
Right. So did he have any kind of indication as to what he was trying to follow in terms of lot lines? Because I look at those and those lines are not parallel. They typically would be.
Yeah, no, he was following tree lines, things like that. He was kind of conceptually, when we talked about this, he was kind of conceptually whoops, wrong one. Lining up with some of these departing lines, but I told him that the tax map was notoriously accurate and that those points, those lines could be 10 to 20 feet off.
Yeah.
So he said, never mind, don't worry about it.
All right.
I said the only way I could really confirm that would be to go out and
Yeah,
locate.
you'd have to
each
do a
other.
boundary. You have to do a retracement on those adjoiners and, you know.
Yeah, I told him that was not in my scope of work, and I doubted that he wanted to pay me to do that, and he agreed.
Yeah. So, all right. So, but in general,
In general, the way I've got it here is he's good with it.
okay, because
And this and the only one I changed from what we did the other day was this one.
yeah.
I moved this one over.
Okay, so see I mean, I appreciate what he's trying to do in terms of tree line following and stuff like that, but that's such an ephemeral feature that
It is, but I don't want to impose my design on him.
no,
Then I'm going to have problems, potentially have problems with him.
yeah, I mean,
This project is his baby, not mine.
yeah, I mean, I understand all that. It's just, I mean, proper lot layout, things like that. You want to try to maintain parallelism and things when and where you can, just because retracement becomes that much easier later. You get a lot of a constant width and all that. But anyway,
we can try to squeeze some consistency out of it as we go along.
yeah, like the one between 11 and 12, we make that line parallel to the line you have to the right of the number 11. You know, that'll be a
And we
consistency.
could probably end up making these 3 parallel.
Yeah.
We might be able to squeeze them out. And the same thing here. I mean, these are not that far off.
Right.
If we hold this line along the tree line, which is clearly visible, we might be able to change these a little bit. We can see how they look.
Yeah, I mean we can even tell that by, you know, just graphically here. If we do just an offset, if we're going to go say through, let's go through, say this point right in here. See, there's the skewed line. So this one would be, that would be the old one. So let's temporarily get rid of that one. Oops. And so you see that'll, and then if we can move that just a little bit more toward the middle. it's a little, that's sort of like it. That would be parallel, then that could be split between the two. But then this one's going to diverge a little to follow this. And those are okay. I'm like you. I'm not trying to impose my will on this. So, let's keep and like this white line here, we want to just visually follow that, or let's see if we.
Well, no, we ended up with the red line, I think splitting the area roughly in half. I think that's when we.
Yeah, the red line split, but that was when we had the partition over here between the middle
Right.
way. So that put it either side there.
And he didn't care about that much. He and his father were doing this project together.
Mm-hmm. All right. So now we can reconfigure that if we get this line between 1 and 2 where you want it. And then, so whatever's left over as 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 could be equal to 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7. And that's going to swing this line, a little bit.
Well, he didn't say that he wanted to do that.
Okay.
I didn't ask him the question, but.
Okay, well, here's one thing I want to consider too, because if he didn't say anything about that, maybe following that tree line's not a bad way to go. And here's another potential design possibility. Let me uncheck this. If we go from, say, there to there, and then if we extended sorry, let me take this. Let's see how this lines up. And the only reason I'm doing it this, yeah, see, that puts it right there. And the reason I kept that, or the reason I did that one, is that keeps this line here on the same bearing as that preceding line, which is retracement a little nicer. Okay, and then we'll put this back there, and then we can take this white line out. Yeah, so that way it's not a common line, and there's probably two different bearings, on this 212 to 213 than there is from 211 to 212. I don't know, but we're at least just extending that one to keep it on that same bearing. So that's probably not a start. All right, and then, so this line, this white line, do we want to go to this corner? Or is he trying to follow the trees or what? Or this corner to corner up here at 9?
No, I think the best we could do would be to go from 212 and follow that line up. He didn't really. I think that would be acceptable.
In other words, take this same bearing here to there.
That's right.
Okay. So then we'll extend to there. All right, so let's.
How are you engaging that right click again? Tell me that again.
I selected this as my target, and then I right click.
Okay, you just right click then. Okay.
Correct.
How did you know you were selecting that as a target?
Because I selected it ahead of time. That's a CAD move, not a Carlson move. Carlson commands, you may have noticed, Carlson commands a lot of times, like you might want to select some things and then go do a Carlson command on it, and it will clear the selection and it'll ask you to select the objects. A lot of
Okay.
commands don't allow you to pre-select, but CAD commands, almost all of them allow you to pre-select. It's what they call noun verb versus verb noun. You're going to select something, there's your noun, that's the what, and then you're going to do something to it, that's your verb.
Okay.
Otherwise, you can run the command, and it's, if you haven't selected anything, it's going to ask you to select objects.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that puts us there, and then we're going to be, significantly enough away from that corner. Now that corner is either there or wherever this, if that circle is, that's your boundary resolution. You make sure you work that part out.
Right.
And so that's going to be, though, let's say from here to the corner of the actual red line. See, that's close to 30 feet. So that's sufficiently enough away, that this description will have a 30-foot leg and then come back to this corner and go around. That'll be okay. So, all right, so we've got these two. So let's put these two on the boundary layer. What makes sense for it?
That would be the boundary layer minor subdivision, I think.
Okay, let me just trying to stretch this out a little bit. There we go. All right, so those two things are going to go on. Boundary. Still didn't get it enough. And it's not letting me grab that.
Why don't I go back in and change those, modify how those are described so they're a little bit.
Yeah, we can do that. Let's see if we can, once we see it. All right, so you've got the family conveyance or you've got the minor subdivision. Those would be the minor subdivision lines.
Right.
And yeah, those are that. Okay, so now, so that's going to be that. Now so we can keep track separately here while we're doing this. Let's go to those. All right, so the minor subdivisions, let's make them yellow. And it'll be yellow and continuous. And then the family conveyance, we're going to make cyan.
They should also be continuous.
We'll make them continuous too. And then, of course, when we plot it, we'll make them black, All right, so we've got those two, and we're going to make this one, we think, is probably okay. Now this one and this one over here are parallel.
Okay, we can make the between 4 and 5, I think, parallel.
Yeah, we'll do that as well.
But I'd like to take it up to that corner, up to the north.
This corner here.
22, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So let's put these on that boundary family conveyance. And right now we'll just get rid of that, and we'll sit on this as our current layer. We'll draw a line on our current, and we're going to go from that point, and we're going to snap parallel. Now, a parallel snap, I don't know if you know how this works, but you run
No,
that,
I don't.
all right,
This is very interesting. That's very helpful. You just did a right click to get to that?
yeah, you could do it up here on the toolbar if you want, but I do
Okay.
a shift right click. That's the way I get my snaps going. So I'm going to talk you through this so you can get the muscle memory of it here.
Okay.
Go to draw your um, line and then start at that endpoint. Okay, and now you're going to snap parallel either way from the toolbar or shift right click.
Oh, I didn't shift right click. Let me start again.
Right. Okay, now with that done, before you click anything, the way you run a parallel snap is you just simply hover over the one without clicking that you want to go parallel to. And once it says parallel, now move back. And once you get lined up to it, you'll see a line that'll pop out and it'll show you. You see that?
Yeah.
You click right there. All right, now hit enter to finish. And that is now exactly parallel to the lines between 3, 4, and 5, 6. And now you can extend all of these lines to the boundaries. So if you pre-select the yellow line and the red outline and then right click extend and then get the endpoints and get the outside line too. Now right click extend and then just click nearer to whichever endpoint you want. It'll go one way and get the other endpoint. Yeah, do all of those.
Now we haven't done anything with this line. I'm thinking we should adjust it a little bit.
The 2 to 3
So
line.
go ahead and do this.
Well, you can, it doesn't hurt. We can always change it.
Yeah, and what I'd like to do is well, okay, I'd like to extend it to this line and then do an enter to escape or hit escape.
Go ahead and get the other endpoint out to the other
Well,
end.
I want to move. I want to make this parallel to this, starting at this end, so that this swings over a little bit.
Okay, so yeah.
So escape.
Yeah, or just hit enter. You're done with the command. Yeah, either one.
Okay, so then I would want to.
So you want to basically make that line parallel to the other three, I mean,
Yes,
but starting at that endpoint. So
correct.
do it just like you did the other one. You're going to draw a new line and then you'll erase the short one or the old one. All right, now snap parallel.
Ah,
And now the snaps come up with a shift right click or get them from your toolbar, either one. No, you just passed it right there. Now hover without clicking. Once you see the word parallel, now go back toward your end. Go up past the end point. Keep going on up there. Keep moving right in there. Now move around till you get the line that shows up. Got it?
and I think that's a little bit too. That's going to make an awfully awkward.
Yeah, if you go ahead and click it and you can see the results of it and we can just erase it. So you see that's going to make a little sliver over there in the corner.
Yeah, that's not good.
So now the other thing is you could move it, you know, go ahead and hit enter to finish your command and then you can just erase that one. Now, the other thing we could do is we could, oh, hang on a second. Let me respond to this. He's the guy's just bugging me to death.
Go ahead. I'm going to check on something here.
All right. All right, I'm back whenever you are.
Okay,
All right, now, the other thing that we could do, Mike, if this makes any sense, and I don't know that it necessarily does, but we could make this line between 2 and 3, sort of the bisector bearing, but like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, just go to the average bearing between the two. But I don't know that there's any great value in that. If his intent is to follow that tree line, then maybe we just extend those.
yeah, so I would do pick that as my target, then
Yep.
do a shift, extend.
Or not shift, just a right click. Shift is for snaps only.
Okay,
So press escape now, right click and
okay,
extend. There you go. There you go. So now you still got that little L shape in there, but that's unavoidable.
right. I mean, he basically made that decision when he,
Yeah. And is that house that's in there, is that any consequence?
it's an old stone barn.
Oh,
It's a ruin.
Yeah.
It's I mean, the stones in it are nice. It would cost you $1 million to rehab it, probably. I don't know what they're gonna do. That's gonna be an
Yeah.
interesting project for somebody.
Yeah, but it's not somebody's residence that they have to worry about.
No, all of these buildings are ruins,
Yeah, okay. All right, so
haven't been lived in for many years.
yeah, all righty.
And I
Any-
just put these numbers in here so I could have a discussion with him and refer to
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, we'll address all that when it's time to make the plat final. Now that line between 5 and 6, select that and bring it to the front just so that I'm clear on the endpoint. It looks like it does extend, but draw order front. Yeah, okay. I just want to make sure it goes all the way up. Same thing as 2 and 3. You don't need to do that. I watched you extend 2 and 3, and I also watched you extend 5 and 6, but I forgot. So,
Okay,
all right, so that's that. And you like, you can, well,
maybe I could make these two lines parallel to this one
yeah,
and
and then,
then make this one parallel to this one.
yeah, probably so. Now, the other thing is too, is a potential you've got is you could take that between 11 and 10 and you can start it at the same
Here,
corner point as between 3 and 4, if that makes any sense to do.
well, it would, except that this is going to be the center of the road.
Yeah,
And I'm not gonna set corners there anyway. I'm gonna have to set them on the edge of the right of way. So it
yeah,
really doesn't save me anything.
okay. All right, so now, so 7, 8, 9, so you got some, and some of these are obviously bigger than the others. He doesn't have any issue with that, right? These are what he wants to do, so
Right.
okey doke.
Well, and this is really a scheme, you see. They're going to end up, they're gonna do these as family conveyances. That's
Uh-huh.
just for the purpose of circumventing the subdivision ordinance. In
Yeah,
5 years, the descendants, or not descendants, what did I call them? Family conveyance parcels can all be deeded back to them. So they're gonna end up with 12 lots here to sell in 5 years' time, roughly.
yeah,
So
yeah,
this is just a scheme.
right, right. So 11 and 12 are smaller, 10, and so 7, 8 parallel, 11 and 12 parallel. All right, so we want to,
So I should go ahead and do that then, extend this line to both sides.
yeah, And then we can just,
Well, just learning this has been really valuable.
oh, good. Now, I'll show you something else real quick that might give you a little more value there as well.
So then,
Well, so what's this? If you can do this kind of a neat way of doing this as well. If we do that and right click, extend, if you've got a lot of things to extend, one of the selection criteria is called by fence. You see this F down here, fence?
yeah,
And that means that we're just going to draw a crossing line. And it'll get all of those. See now, you see that little ghosted line that's still following me?
yeah.
So I'm going to come down here and get these others, and then I'll hit enter. And then hit, what happened? Fence. No, it's not working. Normally when you do that, it takes all of them together.
I'll bet it's the moving to the south that is throwing it off.
Well,
Try this one.
but if I do this like this, see it did those as a crossing. That's the way it's supposed to work.
Right.
You know, so it'll do like that.
Now,
But
did you have to pick that as a crossing, or you just did it?
I just did a right to left window crossing, just a real narrow window that clipped across the ends of those lines. But fence is supposed to work that way. And in fact, it will. I'm pretty sure if you type the command extend so that you're not using Carlson's, and then if you pick these, and now it wants to know what to extend. If I do by fence this time, see how it does that? So fence, and this time fence just lets you do a single line at a time, and it goes ahead and runs them out. So, so now the other, so if you don't pre-select it, I think that might be what's causing the problem. If we right click and choose extend, because that is just the CAD extend. Now you read the prompt, it says pick the boundary edges. So it's going to be this one and this one. And now we finish that selection. That's our target. Now pick the things to extend. At that point, you choose fence. And if you just click 2 points, it goes ahead and extends those. And now you can keep going with this fence. Yeah, so apparently when you pre-select it, that fence selection doesn't work, but that makes it work that way. Now, this guy, let's go ahead and put him right here. Now, to make sure that those are parallel, we can just copy them over. So if you don't have to draw a new one and snap parallel, you can, but you can also just select it and copy, and we'll go from the endpoint to that endpoint and to that endpoint.
Okay.
All right, and then we can get rid of these two. And now you can extend those. Extend, fence. Oh, we selected. Oh boy, that's a shame it doesn't work right. All right, so we'll just take that, conclude, fence. There we go. All right. So those are now all three parallel. And they started back here where those same endpoints were. And they look
Maybe
fairly,
we should make the line between 11 and 12 and 11 and 10. Well, we got to follow the tree line. I was just thinking if we made it parallel to this boundary line,
okay.
but he's got that tree line picked. Can we see how much effect that would have?
Yeah, yeah. Let's let me escape to get out of your selection. Now, if you draw, you go ahead and let's draw your 2D polyline and start at, go ahead and say okay, and start at the endpoint of 11 there down at the bottom. So we're going to start there, click, and now snap parallel and get that red line.
With a control, or you
No.
still have hover over it?
Well, not yet. You got to choose parallel snap. So you have to shift right click or get it from the toolbar. Okay, now hover till you see the word. There you go. Now go back over toward the, whenever, there you go, click there. Now hit enter to finish the command. And now extend that line and see how close it matches. Well, no, well, you
no.
just pre-select the target. Now right click, there you go.
Oh, shoot.
That's all right, keep clicking. Well, even if you missed, it's doing this as you pick. So go ahead and pick that blue line now.
Oh, my mouse has disappeared. There it is.
All right, so now hit enter to finish. And that's not too bad. I think that follows close enough, don't you? You can scoot it over if you need. So select that white line and get rid of it.
Well, actually, probably what I'd like to do is move this line over to there.
All right.
So would I hit that and then click move?
Yep, and move it from the endpoint to the endpoint.
And where's the move command
Well,
over here?
you can right click and move. See, just like you did extend, move is also there. So now go to the endpoint of there to the endpoint of the white line. There you go. Now the end of that no longer meets down there at the red line. If you zoom down in there, it's sticking over a little bit, so we have to trim it.
Okay, so I do that. Oops.
So just click and then right click, trim. And then just zoom down in there and pick on the endpoint or the, yeah, right there. There you go.
And then delete this.
Yeah. Now zoom out and see how it looks.
Wow, this has been a very valuable session. I've learned a lot today.
Good, good.
So
yeah,
then I would just do a copy. And this line isn't parallel, is it? Or did we make it parallel?
No, no, we would just copy that one. And now the other thing is too, you could decide to make 11 and 12 as whatever its composite area is, and then split the area in half so that the lots are equal area, but not necessarily. Or you could make it, you know, lots are equal width, because the blue line is parallel to the red line. If you draw, let me show you a little trick there. If you draw another polyline, go ahead and hit OK, and then just snap snap nearest. So you can shift right click or go up there and get the nearest snap. Run the command again, draw.
I forgot to hit the shift.
Yeah. Shift right click and choose nearest, which is right. Nope, right there. Yep. Now click anywhere on the blue line from 11. There you go. Click and now do a shift right click, snap parallel, which is down 2/3 down. Oh, wait, keep going right there. I'm sorry, not parallel, perpendicular. I'm sorry, go back up. Yep, perpendicular. And now get the red line. click. All right, so now that line is exactly between those two lines there. So if you want to copy the one blue line between 10 and 11, so go ahead and select it. And right click copy and snap anywhere on it. There's fine there. And now click that. Now go to the midpoint of that temporary line you drew. So shift right click midpoint. It's up, up, up. Right there. Midpoint and right there. Click, hit enter. Now, when you can get rid of the temporary line and then trim and extend that line between your boundaries. And that makes lots 11 and 12 have equal width. Plus it's parallel. Okay, now, when you right click extend, go ahead and do that and click on the short end of 12. And before you finish the command, go ahead and do that click. Now, hold the shift key because you see where it says or shift select to trim. So go down and get the part that's over the edge and shift click. Perfect. You're done. Get rid of the white line. We'll press escape. There you go. Get rid of the white line. All right. So now those two lots are equal width. They're not equal area, of course, because the two sidelines are not parallel. So
right.
And you could have made it so, but again, I think that's more visually going to show, you know, because the layperson looking at those two lots on the thing, if you made them equal area, lot 12 looks wider than, or I mean, lot 11 would look wider than 12 because it has shorter distances side to side. So this way it's sort of visually equal, and I think people will find that a little more appealing. Okay, so now the line up there between 1 and 2, we went from that one corner and we up at the other end, did we go to that corner? I think, no, wait a minute.
We went from 212.
Yeah, but at what bearing? Like this?
Oh,
yeah. See, we didn't go to that corner.
Well, and I've got to figure out what that corner is going to be. I think it's going to be point number 9, but there's a discrepancy there between what I'm finding in the field and what's platted, and I need to figure that out.
Yeah, so you know, you could potentially make and I don't know what this bearing is, whether it's the same as say 2 to 3. Well, it doesn't show me that. I'd have to do an inverse. So if I go from here to here, that's 1840/18. And this one is at 1954/59. So they're not, these two are not parallel, which is fine. Let's see what. So that's what parallel would do. And it's still not quite on the endpoint, whether that endpoint is here or wherever 9 is.
Right.
But it's still kind of close enough. Now, you just think in terms of writing the, you know, the legal description of the lots. Like, do you want lot 2 to have this, you know, parallel sides over here when you're trying to record the deed, you're writing the deed description, or do you want to, you know, come along this line to a point and then you go at a certain bearing, so you're going from this corner to this corner, so you're matching corners of adjacencies, but you do have to resolve that issue is, and if it's, if this point is in question, we don't know at this point whether to swing this yellow line over to the vertex of the red boundary or whatever this point's going to be, because that may affect that. Now,
What's a good way to see what 0.9 is, actually?
just
Double click on it.
or even just select it. You see it's right in the center of that circle. But if
No,
you,
but I mean what the physical description of it is.
yeah, just double click and then look at the general tab. It's a
That's
five.
a fence post. So I'm probably going to hold I'm probably not going to hold that. I'm going to hold the, in fact, let me go ahead and change that from a, well, I won't take up your time with fiddling around with that. I'll,
Yeah, now here's the only thing that I will caution you on is if you resolve any of these points along this boundary, like if you swing this one somewhere and maybe it goes back to wherever 9 is or whatever, and if you want to bring this dividing line to it, you would just select that, hover till you get the grip and then move it over and snap into that. And that's fine for that one boundary. But let's say if you did something, say down, is there a point on, yeah, see, there's a point on this line back here too. Whatever that 22 is.
it's a fence post and I'm going to hold it because it's called for in the adjoining deed.
All right, so if, for instance, that you did move this kind of thing and it changed the bearings of these lines, make sure you go back and double check that these are trimmed and extended exactly to that line.
Right.
You have them set now, and if you make a little tweak, you're going to not be exactly on that. So you want to make sure every time you test it out that you do so. Check everything that could be affected by it. Okay, so 0.9 up here is not going to affect any. Oops, I see what I did. I need to put. Yeah. So if you were to change 0.9, you're only going to affect the lines coming into 0.9. You're not going to affect any of these others, but just make sure if you do any of those tweaks that you go back and keep track of those things. Okay.
Okay. I think we're ready for this road center line in the right of way, aren't we?
I think so. So let's go ahead and save this. So we've got our partitioning at least tentatively.
We can probably turn the raster image off to make it less confusing.
Yeah, not only less confusing, but make it work a little better, a little faster.
We can turn the layer off, I think. Okay.
Yeah, that was just, I had to select the layer. So now we have here, what is this line?
That was for boundary topo. We can
Okay,
probably turn it off too.
there we go. All right, so you've got, there's that original center line. We got the alignments that they came up with. So you're going to know basically.
I think we brought that in. I think we just turned the layer off.
All right, I'm going to temporarily turn everything on. And
I guess not.
see that there. Now I'm going to do an undo to get back to where we were. There we go. All right, so what are we sitting at here? We're at 1:50, which is, these points are pretty huge here.
Yeah, that was the topo scale, but plat's gonna be at 400 scale, I think.
Yeah, so that's probably what this is. Or that's at 60. That one's at 16. So, I mean, it's okay. I mean, you can resolve that, when you're ready to plat. There's no big deal there. But let's see, what's this on? This is on the surf layers. So,
We can freeze those, I think.
yeah, let's do that. I want to make sure if I get any labels. All right, now we've got the center line. Now we had those other drawings that we had up where we resolved the center line. We did some different things to it.
Yeah.
But since we have the center line file, we might as well just go ahead and use it where we are now. So let's go ahead and start that. We're going to go, or you're going to go to the centerline menu, and you're going to choose Draw Centerline File. And that's fine for the centerline layer if you want, and then go to OK. And now the one with curves is the one with that 22.5 radius curve. So I don't know if I'd use that. Let's just get the original and say open. And there it is. Now it looks
Let me
like,
ask you a question.
yeah,
From an engineering point of view, why did they start way over here? Their
back over here.
yeah.
I don't,
I would have thought they would have started at the center line of the existing road.
well, they should have. And I'm guessing that they've got, yeah, see that point right there? That point is on the center line of the road, or you see it. So they did put a point in the center line. Now let me see what that's on. That's just a break line. Let's freeze those too. What's this on? The road center. That's your surveyed center line, but the red is the boundary. So the red looks like it's splitting the two edges, whereas this looks like it was done from your survey points.
Right.
All right, so let's isolate that before we freeze it, just to make sure we can freeze it without consequence. All right, that had your original, and those are all your surveyed points. So we're going to restore, and then we will freeze. Oops, we will freeze that surveyed line, and we're going to be using the red boundary. That right there. Oh, that's one of your points. Okay, so we're going to be using this line as our legal center line that we're going to start this alignment on. Okay.
Right.
So now we also, from our first session, we went ahead and put some additional large scale radii in here. And we can see what they were, just if we just double click this line and bring up the centerline file. So that curve has it's got a radius of 50 feet. This next curve has a radius of probably also 50 feet. Okay, so those are two 50-foot radii. So that part's okay. Now, if we trim this, and now go back to our centerline file, that should have trimmed it. Yeah. So that is a distance of 41.4 feet, just to verify that. Where is our, yeah. Yeah, 41.4 feet. So that's, we're starting there. We're coming out there, two curves of that radius. And we've got to get now to this line to extend that up. So number of ways we can do it. If we turn back on our image just a minute. Let's see, were there any markers, anything significant that we need to avoid?
It would probably be, I mean, this ground is so rocky, it's hard to tell without going through and locating all of the rocks. I don't know if there's any value in trying to
Yeah, and it's
come through
probably,
that.
yeah, it's probably going to be the case too, Mike, that there are other rocks there just 6 inches under the dirt. So we don't know that without doing a geotech all along it. So, all right. So what I'm going to suggest we do then, let's turn that layer back off. Is let's do this. We're going to basically, we'll take this start of this alignment, and we're going to connect it up with the rest of this and make a fairly decent alignment. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to draw that center line. I'm going to go ahead and get on our center line layer. And I'm going to say start right here, and I'm going to come down to here, and then I'll come say here, and then to the end of that. Okay, now I've just got PI to PI to PI. So we're going to be putting some curves in here, and we're going to be joining this up. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to join nearest. And I think if we join this to this, I don't know that that's going to update the centerline file. Let's see. Yep. Nope. It did not. That's fine. So we're going to exit that, and we're going to make a new alignment, and we'll keep this starting stuff, and we're going to fit some curves in here. Okay. So those other two alignments that we had, the one that we drew that they gave us as a starting point, we're just going to use that as we did to get us drawing into our location. Okay. So now let's create a new center line. So we're going to go to center line menu, and we're going to say polyline to center line file. Nope, third down from the top. Right there. All right, now give it a name. So you're going to call this whatever his subdivision name is, or
It's some Curry.
call it
Prairie.
McCreary Lane or whatever you want to call it.
I'll call it McCreary Road for the time being.
That'll go. All right. And we'll say save. And now it says select the polyline that now, and also notice the line above it says it should have been drawn in the direction of increasing stations. Now it might be backwards. Now we're going to see when it comes up with that and it's going to prompt us. So just pick that center line or that polyline rather. Now that's showing you the direction that it's going to have for increasing stations, and that is correct. So we don't need to use the option that says reverse. Okay.
Right.
And we would give it a beginning station, and you can either start that with 0, 0 or call it 10 plus 0, 0.
That's how I always do it. It starts
Yep.
from 0 to 0.
That's fine. And that's what's in default. So just hit enter. Okay. And hit enter to finish. And now you've got this new center line file. If you double click that line, we can go in and start putting the curves in. All right. So now it is sitting on the first tangent, that first leg before we need to fit a curve. That's where we're going to fit the curve. Now you can zoom up there. If you click in that graphic preview and just roll the wheel and pull it around, you see how you can zoom in and out as you need. So now it's a little too tight probably. I'd back out a little bit so you can see the tangents and see where the curves are going to go. All right. And so now, there you go. So now, yeah, like that. So now, I mean, you could do the math and figure out what it's going to be, but the easiest thing is just kind of do a trial and error and see if it's going to work. So while you're sitting on the incoming tangent, go down to the bottom and say fit curve. Okay. And so now when you do it this way, by the way, it's going to maintain the tangency of those things. And that's what fitting a curve does, is it fits it tangent to the two incoming and outgoing tangent. And you notice there's a checkbox at the top that says fit a curve for all PIs, and that would apply equal radius to all the curves. Now we don't want to do that. We're going to try these individually. So given that the incoming curve, if you, let's see, let's slide this over just a, can we? Yeah. So you see this curve right up here, that came into that last one was a 50-footer. So that might be, you know, maybe we'll try 50 or maybe 75. I think might give us a little bigger curve. It might be a little more graceful. So let's try 75.
Take 75 in there.
Yep. And then just hit OK and see what that looks like. And we can zoom in down there and it's tiny. So if you go back to, you know, I think maybe 200. So sit on the curve itself. What, how come we got a line to a line? Let me see this a second here. Oh, we needed to put a curve in here too. Okay. So if we fit a curve in there, let's just fit a 50 in there to match that previous. I missed a tangent. I'm sorry about that. So that now puts a, all right, so there we've got a 50 foot, a 50 foot, and a 50 foot. That can be bigger. All right, so that's going to be that. Now these two 50 footers are just to sort of get us in and swung around. So that's probably okay. So that was 100 foot. And then if we come down to our next curve, let's make that one say 250 feet. So that's going to give us a little more gracefulness going around the corner there. And then we'll go down to our next line. I'm clicking down here now. I'm going to fit another curve in there, and let's make that one a 500-foot curve. So I'll let you hit the fit curve button. Okay. And so you see it's a nice flat curve, but it's still, it doesn't make it too long a curve. So, we could have obviously make it a 2,000-foot radius curve if you want, but that should be sufficient. So now that should be good. We'll hit save and exit, and it will redraw in the drawing for us. So, and then there you go. Now you see we're getting some curves in there. They're looking a little nicer. Now, one of the things.
Okay, we do have a problem here. Let me
Right.
point that out. We have to have a 50-foot
Did we miss a
easement here. If we have
okay.
5 feet from here, we're going to be crossing this property line, I think.
Gotcha. Yep. I think you're exactly right. In fact, you can try that. It's going to be 25 feet offset each side.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good catch. So if we do that, no, there's 25.
No, we're okay.
Okay. All right. So now I'm going to go ahead and just get rid of that. We verified that, and that's going to give us that. And we'll go up to the end. Now we'll put a cul-de-sac out here, maybe a bubble out this way if you want instead of centered. We'll try that. But one of the things we might want to look at, you see this mess in here?
Yeah.
We might want to sort of straighten that out. They did that to sort of match your initial stuff. So I think if we maybe get rid of, see, we got this little bitty tangent. So if we get rid of some of this mess in here, and maybe we'll just come in with a longer tangent and maybe fit a single curve in there to get back on this bearing. So we're going to do that like this. I'm going to draw.
Well, let me ask you this.
Okay.
The engineering company is working on their own separate drawing to submit to the highway department, showing the initial design of this road and showing drainage and all that stuff.
Well, they've already got it messed up because of those curves in there. They just got that little envelope shown.
So should I send it back to them and ask them to change it?
I would, yes.
Okay.
Because that's going to, because right now, remember that little envelope they had, that little blue edge with looked like pavement returns. They had like 50-foot wide pavement is what it looked like, really. Where is their drawing? Let's open that up just to look at it. Design center line. That's what they sent you. Yeah, see this blue thing here? They're calling it EOP, edge of pavement. But, that means that the pavement is. See, they're showing, well, that's 25 feet across. They're showing, so that's 12.5-foot lanes. Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't think the guy's going to build a road that big. I don't think he has any intention of that. I haven't asked him that question, but maybe they have. I don't know.
Yeah, I wouldn't imagine. I mean, even like a typical subdivision road is going to have 12-foot lanes, so it'd only be 24 feet across. But and that's really in more suburban areas. I would imagine 2 10-foot lanes would be sufficient for a pavement width. Okay, so but in any case, I think if we go back to ours here, whatever we do, we'll give him, when we send back to the engineer, we'll send him our edge of pavement and our right of way. And so the edge of pavement will have the return that meets the actual edge of pavement out here on the street. And then we'll have the right of way if, it'll also have those returns in it, but it'll be concentric to those pavement edges. Okay, so to get back to this, to sort of take that kink out of there, I'm going to, we're going to start right here and go to here as that tangent. And then I'm going to start from here and go to here as that tangent. And I'm going to take those two lines that I just drew. And give this some visibility here for us. And then if I so there's going to be our single PI, and we'll fit a curve in here to smooth this out. And we'll put a pretty broad curve, not terribly broad. In fact, I'll do it from, let's go from we'll keep that endpoint. Whoops. We'll go from here and we're going to go parallel or perpendicular to that one. And then we'll move this from that endpoint to the endpoint of the yellow line. Yeah, or that's their original endpoint right there. So we go from there, and then so our center of our curve will be from there around to here. Let me see how I can do that. If we we'll draw an arc. If we give it a PC, the PT, we don't know the PT, so a PC. All right, how about tangent PC? Tangent, I think it's going to ask for a distance. Let's see, so if we give it a PC. Problem is we need to sort of predict this PC and radius and chord. All right, let me see if we do this. We'll make this one magenta. If I start here, I go to here, and then I'm going to type A for arc. So it's going to be tangent to that, but I want to go to the endpoint. I want to go to a point that is going to be tangent to this line. I don't see that starting up. Where's the tangent snap? Finds a tangent to that one. Maybe I have to be on it further back. tangent to that. Let me isolate this thing for a minute. Don't need that anymore. All right, now, if we go from here to here and then choose an arc, and we want to take that arc to be tangent to this line, why isn't it finding that?
I think it's further down. It's almost got to be further down to make the two tangents equal.
Well, I still should have seen the little pop-up. So I want to make sure that I get right on that endpoint. I can fit a tangent curve in there of some radius, but it's going to miss that point a little bit. I was trying to honor that point. Because see, if I go from here to here, now that sets my tangent direction. And then I set an arc, and it's going to be tangent to the incoming, but I want it to also go to wherever it's going to be tangent out here. And that's not, unless I got the wrong snap. Let me see. See, that should pop up, because if I, even if down here, I should see it somewhere. And tangent on there is going to be somewhere in here, but it's not able to find the tangent of that, I don't think. No tangent found for specified point. All right. So if we do this, let's just do an arc. Let's do a circle. Tangent. Radius. Tangent to this line. Tangent to this line. And now the radius is going to be somewhere like that. All right, so this radius is going to be 165. So if we made that 150, it would look like that. That's probably a good value. So now we go from here to here, arc, radius length of 150 to the right. Oh, that's going, yeah, see, that never hits it. So we're not going to be able to make a tangent curve honoring that point. Okay. So we won't. We'll just put this in, say, a radius of 150 from here to here. And then that means that's gonna be all the way up to here before it starts. That's okay. Live with that. All right, so now let's restore our layers back. And we want to make a radius of, say, I think it was 500, was it? And then if we offset that 25 feet,
Barely.
yeah, I don't want to get it that close. Let's make that radius. Oh, I know why. It's because this bearing changed so drastically. Um, you know what? Let's do this. If we just draw a line here and make it perpendicular so we're coming off of that at a right angle. Give us a little bit cleaner. There, so we're there. Oh gosh, we need to miss this point too, so we need to pull this guy back. Let's pull him back at least to there. Oh, that's not the line that I wanted to be. I think we lost our, yeah, we lost that other thing in there. Okay, no problem. We lost the other piece of the alignment when I did that edit. So if we do this and I continue this, I want to take it down to, say, here, and then to here, and then up to here. All right, that'll be better. Now, we're going to go back to our centerline, polyline to centerline file, and even though we already had one done, I'm going to choose this and overwrite it with a new one. And I'll pick my center line. Direction is okay. Starting 0, 0, that's fine. And now let's throw the curves in. So if I go to my first fit curve, can we get 150 footer in there? Yep. And then we'll go down to this one and make that one, say, 250 feet. And then go to the last one and make that one, let's say 750. See how, I think it's a nice smooth. Let's come back to this one and make it 50. I think this one, That makes that line 81 feet. So that's enough of a tangent to get out of the road before you start around the curve. I think that'll work. All right, so that's going to be our alignment. We'll check the offsets here. All right, so that will be coming off at a 90. Highway Department loves that. And we clear that. We clear that. I think that'll work.
I'm probably gonna want that on a different layer.
Well, we're gonna do it on a right of way once we do that separately.
Okay,
All right, so now let's go back and we have the center line file. I'm going to go ahead and just erase this, and we're going to draw the center line file, and we will label the center line.
what are you gonna label, stationing?
Yeah,
I don't need to show stationing on my plat.
okay, but yeah, but I want to use it for
Okay, so we can turn it off.
yeah, we can turn it off, but I want to use it for design. I didn't specify a file, so let me station the polyline center line. Do we have any settings already made? No. Let's see what our defaults give us. So that's going to be C's, PTs. Now I would when we're done with all of this and we give this file back to the engineers, I'd give them the stationing too while we're at it, but we'll fix that when we need to. All right, I think let's go ahead and erase those things. Station text, station mark. All right. So we're back to that. This is going to be whatever the center line layer, as long as we're maybe. It's this center line, but I don't think that's the right one. In fact, I think it'll show up as, oh, that's stupid. Right. Yeah, I'll just leave it at that. What is our LTC? MS LT scale is on, LT scale is one. Yeah, all right. All right, so we'll leave that there. That's our center line. And now we're going to, when we get out here to the end, because if you look at the end of it, it's out here, we're going to put a cul-de-sac out there when we go to create it. Now we're going to use some road design tools to be able to do that. And let's see if we have them in survey. Not, if we had them in, if you had civil, they're in there, we'd be able to do what I was trying to do, but let's do a right of way. well, I want to do pavement widths first. So let's,
Okay, remember, I'm not gonna have to show any surface on my road.
right,
On,
yeah,
on
we're not,
the right of way.
right, we're not gonna do the surface, but I do want to, I'll show you what I'm talking about here when I want to do it. So if we assume 10-foot lanes, two 10-foot lanes, and I want to put these on an edge of pavement layer. Copy this layer. Well, doesn't seem to. It's a V road EOP. Copy. Paste. It's not pasting it. It should. Well, here's one way to do it. If we sit on that layer as current, and then we make a new layer, we're going to call that C dash road dash EOP. Make them this color. That'll be fine. Right now, the reason I was wanting to do this is because we need to put in the pavement returns right here.
Okay,
It's going to be analogous to this bit that they put out here, but we're going to have it a little bit better defined. So we got 10-foot widths, and if we have we draw a circle, TTR, we go tangent to this, tangent to this, and a radius of, let's say, let's see how big a 25-footer makes it. That'll be good. We'll do the same thing on the other side, TTR. Okay, now we're going to select all of these, and we're going to start trimming. We're going to say trim. We'll trim the back sides here and here, and this one here and here. And now we'll select these two little nubbies. Get rid of them. And then we'll join nearest that one to that one. And that one to that one. Now, we're going to make the right of way, which will be 25 feet each side. And we're going to trim this off here and here. And we're going to put in another TTR circle, or a couple of them. One, see, tangent to this and tangent to this. Now the radius there, if that one's 25 feet, that width is 10, but it's an extra 15. Wait a minute, we had a 25, so we take, we go from 10, so 15, so that should be a 10-foot radius. Let me think.
I'm gonna walk into the next room and get rid of a cup of coffee. I'll be right back.
Yep.
I'm back.
All righty. So, how do we want to do this right away out here? Do we want to make it another arc, or do we want to put a chamfer on it, like a 45-degree line? What's typically done in your neck of the woods? Or see if we did, let me change these lines a minute here. We have,
I think it's called easement, maybe. It's not, don't have a layer for it.
well, there's a V road, but V means it's existing, and that's a survey type thing. All right, we'll just. Oops. Ah. All right, so now let me set this back to by layer. This back to by layer. All right, now, see, we could have, like, I want to give them enough right of way to where they can get this pavement in. Now, we could go right from the corner and come out here to this, give them enough room over here. Or we could come back a ways. Let me see what that distance is. If we go from, say, here to some point in here, that's 18 feet. So if we say 25 feet, and now, if instead of doing a fillet, if we do a chamfer, and let me see where they might have put those tools. Should be over here. That's fillet, I want chamfer. Do this and this. And this and this. So that would now be the right of way. Would get rid of these extra points. And so they are now, let's see what that distance is. To the center line intersection. Yeah, it's 50 feet. So starting 50 feet either side of the center line for the right of way, and then it comes in 45 degrees. And then it meets this 25-foot offset line. So
Okay.
let's make a new layer here. Code C dash road dash RW. We'll make it yellow. We'll make these, put them all back to by layer, put it on layer. Right of way. Line type by layer, line weight by layer, that's all good. All right, so right now, there's your right of way up to that point.
And we need to throw a cul-de-sac in there.
Yeah. So,
I guess we can turn off the pavement layer and
well, what I'm gonna isolate the center line, the pavement and the right of way right now. And up in here now. To do this, we should have here we go, there's cul-de-sac. So select all offset polylines to end with cul-de-sac. Cul-de-sac center. Projection, each section 1 or 2. I wonder. Let's let us. Oh, okay, that's trying to do a. It's trying to do a subdivision, automatic sublot net kind of stuff. All right, so cul-de-sacs. Offset polylines to end with cul-de-sac. Let me take a peek real quick because I don't have my civil tools. I'm trying to do it with the survey tools to see what we have. Polyline center line and the offset polylines create a cul-de-sac. I want it. It's going to bring this up. I need to be able to change that layer. Select all offset polylines to end with a cul-de-sac. make a cul-de-sac center projection onto the center line. So that layer was this. There we go. And right of way is this. Now, what if our offset? Let's say if we do a 50-foot offset. And we do a 60-foot radius. Finding that. Let's center projection. There. There is no layer EOP and ROW. I want C road EOP and C road ROW. Let's see if we do it without the B minus. To do it manually, I can't figure out it's. I'll tell you what, if we had, let's just rename those layers. See if that'll fix it. See, we'll just call this one EOP. This one ROW. Like all offset polylines to end. Yeah. All right. We'll put those back so we can find them later. All right, so let's draw. That now. From there to there. We'll set its total distance to 50. So there's a 50-foot. It's 60. A circle. Radius of 60 feet. Was there something? All right. We could cul-de-sac center projection. Wow. Okay. All right, well, it's not gonna last, we just had to do it manually. All right, so to make our pavement match this is going to be we got to put little curves in here.
You can't draw a circle with the center of the circle being on the end of the center line and then work from that.
Yes. Then, oops.
I'm just testing. Can you hear me?
That'll be the one. Then this needs to go out that way. At what radius? Into here. Hey, Mike, looks like I can't.
Right.
Let's see. Now, let's see, let's try that. Go ahead.
Hello? Hello?
Seems to still be on the phone. Let me see.
You want me to hang up the phone?
Yeah. All right. Go ahead and try it again now.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Okay.
Don't know why. Okay.
My question was, couldn't you have centered a circle on the end of the cul-de-sac? I mean, on the end of the center line and worked from that?
Yeah, you mean like
Right.
yeah, we could do that and just have it go into both sides of the property. And
Yeah.
all right, yeah, we could do that. And let's do the old BTR from here to here, and let's put a 35 radius. Trim all this stuff off. Trim this. Yeah. And join. So that would be your. And then how much right of way we are. See if we're 10. And 25, so 15-foot offset from that. Good to work with. And then we will delete these two segments. And then delete these entire things. We'll trim the. Right. Now defines that. Let's make this a different color. Oops. Let's make it. Now, do we want to? Is that okay for that cul-de-sac, or do you want to take it so it's not on the corner of that 5 and 6?
Oh, that's good.
All right, so as is. And that gives us our defined right of way, our edge of pavement, and our center line are all defined. We've got a center line. Definition, it comes off perpendicular. Everything is really good in terms of a road. All right, so, and you're going to do those as simply an easement
Right.
around that edges. So that should do it. You've got to resolve this 0.9 up here.
Yeah.
To set that, and remember these two lines here are the minor subdivision lines.
Right. Yeah.
And these will be the family conveyance. So right now we've got this family conveyance plat. Well, first of all, let's save. All right, so you've got this family conveyance plat, and when it whenever you get that finished up and ready to go like you like it, we're going to just do a copy of this, and we're going to call it MS final plat. And we'll move left. There we go. So then when you're in it over here, you're just going to double click in here, and then you're going to freeze those. Of course, your
Right.
number there, and then that'll leave you 1, 2, and 3. You'll still have the easement in that, right?
Yeah,
Okay. And then so that'll keep that. That'll be like that. So that's what you're going to want to do. And I'm going to, the reason I'm going to get rid of this one. Whoops. I'm gonna get rid of it now because I want you to get everything just like you like it, with all the labeling and the sizes and anything else you want. Then make the copy, and all you have to do is freeze off those individual pieces.
okay.
Okay. And then let's look back here. Now to do your to do your lot layout. This right now. You would, let's isolate this outside, this and this, and we don't need, yeah, that's right. We don't need the roadway in there because these are going to be individual layers. Now, unfortunately, these are on the same layer as that outside boundary. Let me see something there. So I just freeze points. There we go. Now, to create this as a series of lots, you go to your area layout and you're going to do let's see. We'll do a lot layout. Do that. No, that lets you set a target area. We want, let's first of all set a lot file. Okay, and then we want to do lots by interior point. We're not really getting into the lot network stuff because we're not creating. Oh, here we go. Create lots by pick interior. That's what we're looking for. So we're starting with the point number of, you want, let's say 1001. Do you have anything above 1000?
Let's start with 300.
301.
Yeah,
All right, and then we'll call those
Well, I don't want any description on the drawing.
Okay. Well, we won't draw the points at this
Okay,
stage. And then when we draw the points, we'll turn the description off.
okay.
All right. And then let's see, we don't need blocks, right? And that should work. All right. So I'm gonna say, okay, now you're gonna go through and then pick inside that first lot. Okay. And now you see it says lot name.
Yeah,
That's sufficient, or you could call it
yeah.
space one or whatever you want to call it. So lot, that's fine. So hit enter for that. And 301 is already there.
Okay,
Well, let's
oh, I know, let's go to 400.
wait, wait a minute before we do that, because it's going to back up and get the others. We're going to just we'll undo that. Now let's see, did we see here this points?
No, I used 300 for the topo.
So we're going to go, so we're going to do that next. This there we go. So starting point number 401. There we go. Now go ahead and pick inside the first one. And now instead of 2, type 1 down there at the command line. Okay. Yes, you want to replace it. So Y for yes.
I did.
Oh, okay. Now pick inside. Okay, so now go to the next one. There you go. Failed to find perimeter. Let's try this again. First of all, I want to make a new layer. We're going to call this one C-PRP-lots. There we go. Now, let me see if we do a B poly somewhere. There's a see. I can't find it in front. There's a gap somewhere.
I bet there's a gap in the perimeter somewhere.
Found that one. So maybe there's a gap here. Is it closed? Yeah, see, it's not closed. So it's probably it found that one. It didn't find this one. So there's a gap in one of these corner points, maybe. Aha. Right there. So does that, should that
Well,
resolve?
one of those is a rebar, and that's where it should go to.
All right, so let's see. with all the points. That is your found rebar. That's the one that's good.
Yes.
All right, so then this needs to go to the center of that. And that's not going to affect any of our other things. Okay. So now let's go back to freezing our points again. All right, once more unto the breach. Layout, not layout, utilities. Where were we? Create lots. I'm going to set this lot file back. New, so it starts over again. All right, now area layout, create lots by pick interior. 401. There's your lot 1. And we're going to say
Renumber 401.
401 already exists, so we'll renumber. Pick inside here for 2, enter. And now keep going. I'll let you take it from there. 3. Okay, hit enter to end. Okay, now what you've done, because you have a lot file, you go up to your area layout menu again and look at the lot file manager. It's all the way down next to the bottom. And you'll pick, now that's the point, or that file is already open. You see at the top where it's open, save as. There's that lot. Okay, so now what you can do with these controls here is when you you can select, given lots, and I think it centers it in the middle of the screen. There it is. So lot 8, so and you can do all these different things. You can get reports, you can do you can see, you'll see the so here's lot 1, and it shows you the points and all that, so you can make all kinds of edits to it in here. And you see that there's that little, where that 401, that's where that yellow line is.
Yeah.
So if you wind up moving that 0.401, once you resolve that, when this yellow line gets moved, all you have to do is change that 0.401 to be some other point.
Okay.
It'll take care of fixing all that for you. Now you can do the same thing if you want.
Where was that command? That was in what?
Area layout.
Area layout.
And it's down to bottom.
Not file manager.
Yeah. And now there's other things. Yeah. You can, let's see, select your selection. You can select them all. You can, group.
And how do we get into that?
To pick inside?
Yeah.
All right. That's what I'm going to show you next. If you exit this. Now let's go back and isolate, or let's not isolate, let's freeze. Well, let's restore your layers. Okay, now let's isolate the right there and get the overall boundary. Now, not the proposed lots. You want to scroll down and find the boundary. There you go, that one. And pick one of the yellow lines. And scroll that down till you see that yellow one, okay? Now hit enter for that. Now, this is for your minor subdivision. So let's make a new lot file. So you're going to go up to your area layout. And down at the bottom where it says set lot file, well, right there. Get on the new tab. And instead of what you've got there highlighted in the name, you want to change that name to, you know, maybe at the end of it, put a dash MS or, you know, something to let you know.
After lot? Or
No,
before lot?
yeah, right there. Just put like a dash MS or MSUB, whatever that lets you know that that's for the minor subdivision. Okay. All right. So now we've set that file. Now, to set these points and lots, we're going to do the same thing. So we're going to go back to that area layout command. And down at the bottom, when the create lots by pick interior. No, you did interior text, cancel that. Create lots by pick interior. Right there. Okay. Now I give your starting point number. This time I would maybe call that 501. Okay, and say okay. And now pick inside the first one. Now that one may also be called lot 1. That's fine if it
is.
So we hit enter, and then we hit that one over there, and that's going to be what?
Lot 2.
Hit enter, and now pick theirs for lot 3 and hit enter. Okay, and now you're entered to end, so you're done. Now, if you restore your layers, and
How
if
come
you,
that's still white?
well, it's still showing because they drew.
Okay.
And if you want to turn that off, like if you could either, let's freeze by picking, and we pick this proposed lots, and oh, that's on layer boundary. We forgot to change the layer. All right.
Can we just pick it and change it?
Yeah, that's if we,
I like that.
well, what I want to do is I want to select, I'll do a quick select. I want to get polylines whose layer equals boundary. Let's, and now if I repeat that, I'm going to apply this to the current selection. I only want polylines whose color equals white. So that's now all the white lines on the boundary layer, and we can change that layer to boundary new lots minor subdivision. Now we had Do that. So they're individual lots. Let's make we'll do another one. All right, so let's so let's get these white ones. Like I'm confusing myself. Let me see what I just did here. I've got, all I did was put dashes in them. Let's see. Individual lots, we'll call it. All right, now. We isolate the white ones. So if I select that one and that one and that one, we'll put them on boundary individual lots, minor subdivision. Good. And then if we isolate we had the one. Okay, so we didn't draw the other one yet. All right, so this white one is on individual lots. Okay. So if we freeze boundary individual lots subdivision. Let's change there. Call it back to that. There we go. Now we can freeze the individual lots. Now we also have in here what is this? So we just froze that. Under individual lots. There we go. Apparently I missed connecting it now. So if we want these individual lots for the family conveyance, remember we've got that in the lot file. It's just like a centerline file, how we can use that to draw it. So
Yeah.
I'll let you now go back to area layout. Or area layout. And go down to lot file manager. Now, this is, as you see at the top, it's the MS subdivision or MS lot file. So we
Yeah.
want to open the button to the right over there. And we're going to open the other one, which is just that one above it, right above, right there. Say open. Now, there are all of those lots, but they're not drawn yet. So if you hit the button that says select all, so now they're all selected, and now you can choose draw. Now here's where we're going to do it. There will be closed polylines. And see, this is how you can label all of the bearings and distances and everything as you go for all of these.
Okay.
And you set your settings and your curved and line tables if you wish, and all of that kind of stuff. Or you can, if you uncheck all of those, the two label lines and arcs and label areas, and now just hit OK. It's created 12 lot polylines, and it looks like it went on the current layer. So let's see. No, it went on a layer called lot. Okay, so let's isolate the lot layer. And we're going to put all of these, because these are all each individual.
Okay.
Okay, so we're going to change all of these now to be on that boundary individual lots family conveyance by layer, everything's by layer. That's good. And now we'll restore our layers. And what else do we have in here? We've got something in there. Oh, we didn't freeze it. We just changed their layer. So if we then need to freeze that individual lot lines, they're back to those individual pieces. So to conclude that little discussion and point of exercise, you've got these overall boundaries, like that's going to be what you annotate probably. But you can actually use that this lot file manager to whichever of these is, select the ones you want. And when you draw, you can have it automatically label everything. But, when it does that, it's going to, put a bearing distance here for this lot. And it's also going to put a bearing distance here for this lot. So you might want to do that part manually. But you can do it this way and then just get rid of the extra ones, just delete them because they're just pieces of text. But here's one thing, if you look at a report, see.
What's the report area perimeter only mean?
It would only report you the area and the distance around it. So that's square foot and acreage, total area. if you do a report, it looked like that was basically that. Let's see. Closure groups. Yeah, so there's no misclosure. They all close exactly. If you uncheck that and look at a lot report. Now that gives you more. So that gives you your deed descriptions starting at 401 into 2. So here's lot 1. What's this? It's like it. You know what it did was it went through here and went back and gathered up points that were, that you had empty available points.
Yeah.
It didn't increment them. Well, let's fix that so you can handle them a little better. If you point group manager, we're going to create a lot corners. Yeah, so you got 401, 402, base 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, all the way down.
Oh, Jesus.
So we can renumber those. The other ones. Did pick up the we do. Let's open up this other one here a minute and see what points it used. Yes, it found existing points on those lines. Yeah, so if let's install our points a minute now. So when we picked interior, now we haven't drawn the 401 yet. It's going to be this up here probably. But when we did that, let's go back to the individual or the family conveyance one. So yeah, see, there's that 401. So it set a 0.401 right in there. But it found these other points because apparently this line was drawn with those point numbers. So it didn't create a duplicate point. It went back and reused those that already existed. So that part's still okay, but we've got a bunch of base points that we might want to renumber.
Yeah, we need to do that, because base are control points.
Yeah.
And some of them are. Let me do a list of points here real quick. Yeah, okay, so coming down to here, base 5, from base 5 on need to be renumbered.
Yeah, so we'll start those with, say, 403.
Yeah,
All right, so let's exit that. And it's either
you
utilities or, the utility.
edit points.
No, go up to coordinate file utilities. Right there. Now, we want to go to the right-hand column and we want to renumber points. The range of points, so you're going to call that base, instead of base, no, leave the base 22, but instead of 1, you're going to say base 5. And begin numbering from, what did we say, 403?
Yeah, I think.
Okay. Should work.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was it 403 though? Now I'm second guessing myself. I think it was.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it'll tell you if it said it renumbered 18 points, so it would have told you if it conflicted, if it had one already. So that's good. Now,
Let me go. Now, what did we number these in the 500s when we were doing these lots?
well,
I
we started to, but if you go and look at those uh lots or those points rather, they're gonna, we tried to do that, but apparently when we interrupted it and went back to it, it just went back to the next available point. So now go back to your lot file manager. And switch to that, open the MS one. Now on the lot
oh,
number,
it shouldn't have needed any
oh,
points.
yeah, that one won't. I'm sorry. Yeah, go open the other one again. I'm sorry. You're exactly right, because it found those other points. So it should be, nope, that one. There you go. Now edit any one of those, like lot number 2 or 3 or 5 or something. It says error missing point base 10. That's what it's done.
So we renumbered those, but it doesn't know that it renumbered them in here.
That's right. So let's see if we can fix that. I think.
Would have almost been faster just to have done this by hand.
Two. Yeah, see, crap. It didn't update this one. Okay, let's see here. All right, let's go to boundary individual lots minor subdivision as our current one. And I'm just going to draw something over here. We're going to isolate that layer. Okay. Still have there. Individual elements. Minor subdivision. Minor subdivision, that should be. All right, so now we've got those 3 lots. Let me do this for you real quick here now. We're going to set the lot file back to,
Yeah, that's it.
whoops. Make it new. Yes, replace it. Create lots. By pick interior. Now there's something here. We start with 501.
But there shouldn't be any points to number because they've all been numbered.
That's true. And we changed the numbering on them. So that should work. So we pick here, lot 1, yes. Here, lot 2, yes. Here, lot 3, yes. Now, we can get rid of these individual white ones. We don't need them doubled up. All right, and if we look at our lot file manager now, we look at this one. There it is with those points. This one with those points. And this one with those points. Oh, that's interesting. Checkerboards. All right. So now that one's intact. So let's restore the layers and let's isolate. Or let's change layers to FC. We'll draw something over here, isolate that layer now. Get rid of this. Now we'll select the lot file, and it's going to be this one, but it will be new. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6.
Oh, wrong way. 7, goes 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, so I think I'm gonna do it that way. Now let's select. Select all of these. And then quick select whose color is white. Delete them. One, two, three, four, five, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Okay, now it's not zoom, but we'll have an image. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7. Okay, so those all work. The lot file is correct. And edit a given point. There's the point numbers. So now let's make a selection set and then quick select whose color equals red. We have 6 polylines. We've got this one, this one, this one.
Okay, it was the white ones you wanted to delete, wasn't it?
It's everything except the blue ones. I don't understand why. I think those came from the last time we were drawing all these. So if we select all of these and then quick select, and if we keep the ones that are blue, we're going to exclude them. Say that and that. There we go. Now, store. Let's isolate. How many of these do we have? Should only have 3, but we've got 8. So we do a quick select and we'll get rid of the ones that are by layer and save them. Now should be 3. We got 3. We'll restore. All right. So the ones that are closed polylines are on those ones that say individual lot lines. The drawn heavy lines that the yellow and the cyan are on the let's see. Are on the ones with let's see, individual. Yeah, the ones that say like boundary new lots Those are those yellow and cyan ones that we manually drew.
Yeah,
So now I do have one. Thing here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, should be 12. We've got 13, so I think there's 2 right there, and that's. Yeah, save the extra duplicate. Now. 12, good. Okay. Let's save those, and then if we got a point group that you can use to draw with lot corners, there's your 401 through 420. And then, of course, you still got your other points where they're supposed to be. All right, and then you can use the lot file manager again, like I said, to label the everything that you do. Now I'll show you this one. That's the big one. Select them all. If we draw, and this time we label, it should be okay. General label settings. Bearings. Let's put this on. Boundary. Let's see, boundary. Let's do it like this. Boundary lots. FC. Distance will be on boundary FC. Is that right? What did we, whoops. Boundary lots, that's what I was trying to. What happened?
okay, that went over to the other screen. Let me pull it over.
All right. There we go, thank you. All right, so this. I just want to make sure that I'm um, I can isolate the layers and all that. So I'm going to set all of these layers to be the same on that. Line and curve table. My scalar, if it's bigger than a certain thing, I think that half an inch, 3/4 of an inch, that should be okay. And then the area label settings, square feet and acres, that's okay as we had it.
Yeah, I only want the acres to be to 3 decimal places. We can do that.
Just out of curiosity, what's the reasoning behind that?
That's what the county likes, and it's basically a state standard. If you start getting over that precision limit, the board can claim you can't measure that well.
Yeah, the reason I always have them as 4 is because of significant figures, because any change in 1 square foot will trigger a change in that 4th decimal place.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
do that.
I understand.
Yeah, but if you've got that as a practice standard, that's perfectly fine. So that's all good. All right, so now starting point or point number of line table. So we'll put the line table out here for yucks, and now we exit that. Now I'm gonna show you, see, so it needed to do line 8, 28.72, and that I'm sure is the one right up here. There's your L8.
Yeah,
Everything else got labeled, and it looks like it did not duplicate. Let me see. I select, yep, just one. So it kept it from doing duplications. There's your square footage. So, and you can make, once those lots are done, you can make those edits with all of those, adjust area type things. And then keep it on the individual lot files, etc. And you can also, let's see, if I won't draw it again, I won't execute it again, but if I were to do this, these area label settings, that's what I meant to do, is you can also add.
oh, let me take out the square feet.
Just take that one completely out. Okay. We're gonna do that. I wanted to put the lot. Oh crap, it redrew the polylines. Why does it? When you say draw, label, erase previous. I didn't want it to draw. That's why it's done all that. And it's not getting the lot name put in there, but oh well. And that just added on to that. So let's go ahead and clear those out of here. Now, is this. We've got a layered lot. Wait. All right, and then you've got those individuals and stuff, they're still on underneath there. So turn those on and off as you need. That's well, I guess we need to draw those back. If we select all, draw them. We won't label them this time. Where does boundary individual lots, family conveyance? Why it doesn't give us, when we go to draw those, here's another nice little tool, this lot file utilities, lot file inspector. So as you hover over, as you just hover the mouse, shows there's lot 2, lot 3, lot 4, and it gives you the summary data. And then if you click in it, when you're in the inspector, it's as if you loaded this up and hit edit, and that you come up to do that as well. Yeah, I don't know why. See, this should let you somewhere, it should let you set the layers and such. Draw a team, drawing close by crazy lots of sides of lots of series. See this one feature. That's if you create those MSCs, but you don't need that. Yeah, well, I'm a little bit. I mean, this is a really old tool. I'm just a little bit wishing that they gave you a little more control over, like, see, if you do this, then you can set the layer that goes on, but we don't need to create, these are GIS attributed polygons. We don't need those. But they don't give you anywhere else to change the layers and change the colors and all that. So Anyway, I think we've got it stripped out well enough now. And if you just find any duplicates, just go through and get rid of them as you need. Okay,
Okay, I'll probably turn off the pavement and the center line. I don't need those for my plat.
yeah, no, not for your plat, but when you give that to the engineers, I would give that to them though. Leave them just like they are here and just, you know, because they can look at that and see that it's on P. And they, you know, they won't need it, but they're gonna need some of this stuff to do that HOP permit. But this now gives the distance, you know, we've straightened that out and got their little mess out of that starting point. So they really need to do that again. So I think everything's good there. Let's freeze. The individual. Lot lines, so those are now frozen off. But yeah, for your for your plat, you're gonna you might want to leave the center line on, but not keep the, you can turn your pavement edge off. It depends on if you define your easement based on you know, an offset width of the center line. I don't know however you're going to define it, but you know, I believe that up to
And
you.
I'll dimension the right of way limits. The county will require me to do that.
Yeah, yeah, and so like right in there, if you select this center line, you see where that point is. That's that point of tangency. That's where that curve's going to meet this and then go straight from that point off. So if you need that point for anything, you just select that from that grip. All right.
Okay,
All right. Anything else that you can think of?
I think that's it for now.
That'll give you plenty to play with. Like I said, get that not not only when you send the file to the engineers,
Yeah,
you want to,
I may get you to help me do that, set it up to send it.
yeah,
I'm not ready to send it to them yet.
okay. But but when we do, we also want to send along that .cl file, that centerline definition file. And except they're not going to have Carlson, but we're going to go to this routine at that time, and we're going to export land XML so that it will create that centerline file that they'll be able to use.
Okay,
They can load that up into theirs. And now we need to tell them that that's what they got and why it's for, because you never know what, you know, it depends on the skill level of whoever's on the other end as to whether they're familiar with land XML or not.
right,
But again, you've got, you know, don't forget you got this point to resolve and all those
right.
kind. All right.
Okay,
All right. Anything else?
I think that's it.
All righty. Let's turn our recording off.